You ever stop and wonder if there's some kind of hidden thread connecting our world today all the way back to ancient Egypt? Well, today we're jumping into a really fascinating and pretty startling theory from the philosopher Rudolf Steiner. He believed that our consciousness, our art, even our very own bodies are, in a way, a direct spiritual echo of what happened in Egypt thousands of years ago.
So, what if our modern soul is actually an echo of ancient Egypt? I mean, that's the big question, right? At the very heart of Steiner's worldview is this incredible idea. He believed that the very same souls who saw the pyramids being built, well, they're alive in us today, and that all those ancient experiences have left a massive imprint on who we've become.
So let's look at one of Steiner's first big connections. You see a masterpiece like Raphael's Sistine Madonna, and you think, wow, artistic genius. But Steiner said it's way more than that. He saw it as a kind of spiritual reawakening. For him, the image of the Madonna and Child was a deep, subconscious memory bubbling up, a memory of the ancient Egyptian goddess Isis holding her son Horus. It's like the same powerful image, the same archetype, just showing up again thousands of years later. A divine remembrance, you could say.
And believe me, the connections go even deeper. This one is a real mindbender. Steiner made this stunning psychological link. He basically argued that our modern obsession with the material world, it's a direct result of the ancient Egyptian practice of mummification. Think about it. By preserving the physical body, the Egyptians taught our souls over and over again through countless lifetimes to put a huge value on physical form. And that, he said, is the real hidden root of our modern materialism. Okay, so you're probably asking, how in the world do these echoes even travel through time? Well, to explain that, Steiner lays out a totally different map of human history. It's not just a timeline of kings and battles and random events. He saw it as a sequence of huge, collective spiritual memories. So what he calls these are post-Atlantean cultural epochs. The idea is, after the legendary continent of Atlantis was gone, humanity started a whole new cycle. He maps it out like this. First, ancient India, then ancient Persia, then came the Egyptian Chaldean period, which also includes places like Babylon. After that, the Greco-Roman world, and then finally, our own modern era. But here's the kicker. He believed there was this mysterious law of repetition connecting them all. But what is a cultural epoch, really, in this way of thinking? It's not just about what people wore or the gods they worshipped. No, it's way bigger than that. It's a period where all of humanity, as a whole, is spiritually remembering, like reliving on a soul level, a specific phase of the Earth's own cosmic evolution. We're talking from the very beginning of time. So here's how that breaks down. Take the ancient Indian culture. According to Steiner, it was a spiritual memory of a time when everything was just one, a time of cosmic unity. Then came the ancient Persian culture, which remembered the next big step, the great split into duality, good versus evil, light versus dark. And then came the Egyptian culture, the one that's so important for us, which remembered the emergence of a cosmic trinity. So what are these cosmic memories actually of? I mean, unity, duality, trinity. What does that even mean? Well, to understand that, we have to go way, way back to Steiner's story of how the Earth itself began, long before any history we'd recognize. Okay, phase one, unity. In the very beginning, there was just oneness. The Earth, the sun, the moon, they weren't separate things like they are now. They were all one single glowing body of warm vapor. And humanity, well, we existed back then too, but as these sort of ethereal, light-filled beings, almost like plants, just floating in this divine cosmic womb. Then we get to phase two, duality. This is the first great separation. The story goes that the highest, most advanced spiritual beings needed a different kind of place to evolve. So they took all the finest, purest stuff and split off, forming what we now call the sun. And what was left behind? A darker, denser body, the Earth, still connected to the moon. And finally, we get to phase three, Trinity. To allow humanity to evolve and not become too rigid and stuck, the Earth had to make one more separation. It expelled all of its grossest, most solidifying forces. And all that dense, heavy stuff came together to create the moon. So now you have the Trinity we know today. Sun, Earth, and moon. And humanity is right here on Earth, evolving in the balance between those spiritual forces from the sun and the more material forces from the moon. Now here is where it all comes together. Steiner's big claim is that this entire cosmic drama, this epic story of unity, then separation, then trinity, it's all perfectly preserved. It's remembered in ancient Egypt's most famous and important myth. He basically decodes the famous story of Osiris as a symbolic memory of these cosmic events. So you have Osiris, the good king. He represents that original, life-giving sunlight that was once part of everything. But then you have his brother Typhon. You might also know him as Set. He represents the arrival of something totally new: air, breath. And with breath came mortality, the whole cycle of being born and dying. It's what broke our connection to that timeless, eternal existence. So when you hear the myth about Typhon murdering Osiris, for Steiner, that's not just a story. It's a spiritual picture of that fundamental cosmic separation we were just talking about. It's the memory of light and air, which used to be one thing, suddenly splitting into two separate opposing forces. And that single event, he says, changed the human experience forever. But the connection doesn't stop with myths and legends. Oh no. Steiner claims this cosmic story is imprinted not just on our souls, but physically, like right down into our own bodies, into our anatomy. You probably remember this part of the story. After Typhon kills Osiris, he doesn't just leave it at that. He dismembers the body into 14 pieces and scatters them all over Egypt. It's one of the most famous parts of the whole myth. But why that number? Why 14 specifically? Is that just a random detail somebody made up for the story? Or does it have some kind of deeper cosmic meaning? Well, according to Steiner, that number is everything. It's a cosmic blueprint. The 14 pieces of Osiris, they represent the 14 phases of the waxing moon, as it goes from new to full. And get this, he claims that these creative forces from the waxing moon literally built the first 14 pairs of nerve filaments in the human spinal cord. Our own nervous system is a reflection of that dismembered god. And it's perfectly symmetrical, because the other half of the story is Isis, Osiris's sister and wife. She represents the other 14 phases, the waning moon, going from full back to new. Her forces, Steiner said, formed the other 14 pairs of spinal nerves. And together, they create the entire human nervous system, a perfect living map of the complete lunar cycle. Okay, so after that incredible, pretty mind-bending journey, what's the big takeaway here? Let's bring this all full circle and really think about why this vision of history and of our own bodies is so powerful. In this worldview, we are not just some detached observers looking up at the stars. We are intimately woven from the very fabric of cosmic history. From those echoes you see in our art and feel in our psychology, all the way down to the literal blueprint inside our nervous system, our bodies are the living, breathing memory of the cosmos. And that leaves us with a final, really profound question to think about. If any of this is true, if our bodies really are cosmic maps, and our souls are ancient echoes from Egypt, then what's the message for us, right here, right now? What are these ancient forces trying to tell us? And maybe more importantly, where are we all going next?